All right, next, same series, Sound Foundations. This is an arrangement that I did of the classic March Grandioso. All right, now with that said, if you really think about it, the melody of the whole trio is only 6 notes. And so kids, this is kind of that bridge from to real music, okay? Now, if you are from the great state of Texas and you go see the Texas band, every pregame, here they go, okay, with March Grandioso. So all of a sudden, in certain places, this does connect to daily life, okay, in many ways. Here's March Grandioso, please. And, oh, have you played this? Here we go, please. And, up, up, up. Now, there's a tempo range here. Traditionally, it'd be played a little slower, okay? But actually, in this one, you may find it easier to start in a medium tempo and then work your way down to the grandiose section of it. All right, but there's a tempo range, okay? Next, this one literally is hot off the press. I'm actually looking at this for the first time, okay, in printed form. It's one of mine called Prevailing Winds. It's a grade 2. Again, 4th semester. Everything we're doing right now is in that Sound Foundations Rising Band, so 4th semester. This is called Prevailing Winds. Hopefully the title stands on its own, okay? We play a whole lot of. We're very careful about handling our percussion sections, sometimes now to the detriment of the winds, okay? So you get the idea. So Prevailing Winds brings us something a little more traditional in its approach. With that said, this is really written, it's appropriate for a festival kind of piece, concert festival work. Here we go, please. And Prevailing Winds. Get the idea. By the way, I officially live in Florida. My legal residence is in Florida. I spend a whole lot of time on the water, so Prevailing Winds is a sailing term as well, and there's some clarinet parts that are kind of Florida water inspired.
About 62 where the saxes get sore above the band.
Imagine that. It's like a gaggle of geese, isn't it? All right. Next is in the Rising Band series. This is correlated to the third semester of the method books. Brand new piece, hot off the press. This is a Jim Swearingen. It's called Storm Clouds. Lots of imagery here. There's a whole lot of exploratory percussion in the back. Okay, part of the improvisational experience I was talking about in the last session has to do with coming up with some sound effects. Jim has incorporated those concepts very nicely here. So there's all kinds of very cool percussion that we may or may not have in the back of the room right now. Here we go, please. Storm Clouds. Starts out with the mark tree, sometimes referred to as wind chimes. And there's the mark tree. It's lovely, isn't it? And all kinds of percussion. It's all right. I missed the tempo change. Here we go, please. Here's bar in front of 5. Bar 4, please. Ready? And... lots of percussion. Lots of percussion, blah, blah, blah. You get the idea, okay? So big and intense and dark and stormy, lots of imagery there. Next, third semester, again in the Rising Band series, this is another setting of a traditional march, The Thunderer. David Schaefer, very, very fine writer, lives in Cincinnati, Ohio area. I'll be seeing David here in a couple of weeks. You know The Thunderer. We'll let his setting stand on its own, speak for itself. Nicely done. And this is hot off the press. Again, you're the first people to, other than the Washington Winds, to record this. You're the first people to play it. Okay, that's how new. Came off the press maybe last week, week before. Here we go, please. Here's The Thunderer. And sup, dup, dup. So like March Grandioso, you do get the march experience. Great way to foreshadow what they're going to play a little later in the future. Nicely done. Next is another Rob Grice tune. Again, hot off the press. This is a grade 2 called Wonders of the Universe. This is a different tune. This is outside the normal band border. Okay, a little bit of a different tune. It's kind of a fantasy type thing. Okay, so he uses some very cool modal harmonies, and if we've gone through a good listening sequence with the band, begin to understand scales and whatnot, here's an opportunity to get into some modal scales, okay, and have them be able to bring it to fruition in a pretty cool piece. I like this one very much. Here's Wonders of the Universe, please. And sup, dup, dup. But great teaching tells us we have to take them from what they know to what they don't know. Whenever we're going to teach a concept, we have to foreshadow it. We're foreshadowing modal harmony here. This is a great example of Lydian mode, okay, and he uses it, but then still brings us back to good old Ionian and major scales, so they actually can hear the difference. Really great teaching piece, okay? Next, again, hot off the press. This is one of mine. It's at the, uses only the first 6 notes. They have the skills at the end of the first semester. This is called Dueling Dragons. Anybody ever been to Orlando, Florida? What is Dueling Dragons? It's one of the coolest roller coasters in the world, fire and ice, okay? All right, so your kids are going to know this roller coaster, I promise you. What it is, those of you who don't know, have never been there, we're at Universal Studios, we're in Orlando. It's one of the coolest coasters in the world. What it is really 2 coasters, and they're in tandem. So you either get on fire or you get on ice, and these 2 coasters leave at the same time, and then the tracks intertwine. So it's like 2 dragons that are fighting, and they're looping around and within each other. And so then when you get off, you can go around and take the shortcut and go ride the other one. If you rode fire, you can go to ice. If you rode ice, you can go to fire. Okay, so this one is a roller coaster tune. My daughters and I, we have 2 passions. By the time they leave the nest, we'll have been to every Major League Baseball park in America, okay? This summer, we're hitting Milwaukee. We're doing the Midwest tour. We're getting Milwaukee. We're going down through Chicago, Cleveland, Cincinnati, okay? But the other one we do is ride roller coasters, okay? And on the way to Cleveland, we're going to Sandusky to Cedar Point because we got to go to the, that's right, okay? So there's another piece there somewhere, okay? You know, and if there is, then the trip is tax deductible, right? All right, Dueling Dragons. There's some percussion effects here, like ratchets and things like that. It'll sound like the tracks as it's moving up. You hear the click of the tracks and all that kind of stuff. Okay? All right, here we go, please. And you've got some, by the way, the vocal stuff I was talking about, here's a way to implement it, okay? All right, because there are vocal effects that are very important. Yes, we're addressing that first content standard because there are vocal effects. Okay, here we go, please. And 2, 3. There's all kinds of track noises here in the percussion and an Asian melody. You got the idea? Woodwinds, okay, combine with the metallic percussion, okay, and brass combined with the wood percussion back there. And you'll notice there's a fragment of a line, then it's introduced in the other choir. That's the dueling of fire and ice, okay? All kinds of effects. There's steam and then there's icy wind. By the way, the steam is a that sound, okay, that burn, and then the icy wind is a. So now we're dealing in timbre, okay, and dealing in vocal timbre, which is kind of interesting. Yes? Grade level, well, that's interesting. In terms of everything technical, you can do it after the first semester. But because of your listening, because they're engaged in the concept, because they're listening, it's going to play harder than it is, or it's going to sound harder than it is. But if you look at it on the page, it's a grade 1/2, okay? I think most people can comfortably play this at your first spring concert, okay? All right, good. Dueling Dragons, nice job.